In section 4.4, it's talking about the discrete or continuous data. When it's talking discrete data, that means all values need to be specific integers, 1, 2, 3, or even 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, that works as well. Whereas continuous data, that can be any value. It could be any decimal. Usually time is continuous data because time is tracked in seconds. Whereas discrete data would be like you're purchasing something at a store. You want to buy 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, and so on and so forth. So question 8 says the graph at the right shows Jeremy's distance from home each hour he is on a car trip. Create a table and write an equation. So I'm not given any number information in my paragraph or my sentence, so I'm going to develop my equation based off the table. So my points are 150, 2, 100, 3, 150, and 4, 200. And in order to write an equation, you do your pattern for your y's, which is plus 50, divided by the pattern of your x's, which is 1. So triangle y over triangle x is equal to 50 over 1, which is equal to 50. Remember, your beginning value is what you get when you go backwards in your pattern. You have to go backwards until your x hits 0. So I have to go 1 time back for my left, and I go subtract 50, go 1 time back for my right. So my beginning value is equal to 0. That would make my equation y equals my rate, which is 50, x plus 0. How many miles will he be from home after 10 hours? Well, notice how your x value, or your x-axis, is hours. So I'm going to plug 10 in for my x. Y equals 50 times 10 plus 0, which gives me, when I put that into my calculator, 500, and make sure you label your work, which is in miles. Now the question is the data discrete or continuous? Explain. Well, if I just look at the graph is shown as discrete. But if I consider the data is time and distance. Well, if he's taking a car trip, you can determine how far specifically he got in 1 hour and 20 minutes or in 1 hour and 40 minutes, which would include all those decimals that are between specifically 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours away. So if you look at the data specifically, that would be continuous. Number 9 says a businesswoman earns $150 commission for every product she sells for her company. Create an equation. Well, my rate is $150 per product. So my equation is y equals my rate times x plus my initial value, but it doesn't give me an initial value, so I don't need to account for one. Now, it wants me to create a table and show the amount of money she earns for selling 4, 5, 6, and 7 items, then plot the points on the graph. So if I do 150 times 4, that gives me 600. 150 times 5 is 750. 150 times 6 is 900. 150 times 7 is 1050. Then you go ahead and plot them on the graph. So we go right to 4, or products are 4, and my cost is up at 600. You go right to 5, and you go up to 750, which is going to be in between 700 and 800. You go right to 6 and up to 900, and then right to 7 and up to 1050. Then it says, is this data discrete or continuous? Well, if you look at your x-axis, my x-axis is labeled products. Are you going to, or is she going to get commission if she sells 1.5 products? No, she has to sell the specific amount of products. So this is discrete. Products are sold in whole numbers.